Powerful people do not always move faster than you. They do not always speak better than you. The real gap is simpler. They act from a hard center that does not beg for approval. That center is the hidden trait. When you have it, you can set terms, end conversations, change direction, and you do not melt when someone frowns. Without it, you over-explain, you chase, you offer discounts, you stay on calls too long, and you let people return late and loud. This lesson is about building that hard center the way Niccolò Machiavelli would have advised. Calm voice, hard edges, protection first. Machiavelli watched ambitious men in Italian courts. Most of them wanted to be liked. That made them soft targets. They believed peace came from pleasing everyone, so they became bendable. Bendable people get tolerated, not trusted. Machiavelli wanted the opposite. He wanted rulers to be predictable, sharp, and a little uncomfortable to push. The hidden trait is the willingness to be unfairly strong, to look harder than the moment seems to require, because softness now invites trouble later. If people think they can bend you today, they will try to break you tomorrow. Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose between them." He was not telling you to be cruel for sport. He was telling you to be legible. When people know you will act, they adjust. When they think you will hesitate, they push. Modern version. If your team thinks deadlines slide every week, they will test you. If clients think they can text you at 1 in the morning, they will. If friends think you always say yes, they will add one more favor. Fear in this sense means respect for consequences. Your job is to make those consequences clear, consistent, and boring. So how do you build that clarity today, when everyone expects instant answers and unlimited access? You start with reply windows. A reply window is a rule for when you answer, not for how warm you sound. Example: business messages get answered 9 to 6, not 24/7. Family gets answered inside that, emergencies outside that, strangers in 24 hours. You keep the window. You do not explain the window every time. You do not apologize for living by it. That is the hard center at work. You are not rude. You are ranked. People learn the rank. After 2 or 3 rounds, they stop demanding instant access because you trained them without raising your voice. People may call you distant at first. Let them. Distance is the price of order. When you answer every ping the moment it appears, you teach people that their urgency is above your plan. Machiavelli would call that ruling from weakness. You want the opposite. You want to show that your day is built on design, not on other people's emotions. After a short time, even the loud ones adjust, because humans follow the person who keeps rhythm. Reply windows create rhythm. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my time, then I protect everything else. Next move, the one-pass reset. Machiavelli would hate drawn-out reforms. He knew slow-change leaders get cut down because every small step gives enemies time to organize. Same for you. When a system in your life is messy, your prices, your schedule, your team rules, do one clean reset, not 10 tiny ones. Announce new terms once, apply them once, then hold. When clients say, "But we used to," you say, "Correct. We now do it this way." That is a clean reset. Corrections beat apologies. You correct the pattern and you move. People may complain for a week, but the noise fades faster than you think, and the structure stays. Remember that resistance is loud and short, but respect is quiet and long. People complain in the first week because you removed their favorite loophole. After a month, they stop noticing and start following, because the path is now clear. Your job is to survive that first week without folding. That is the moment most people break, and that is why the trait looks unfair from the outside. Hold through it. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince is also respected when he is either a true friend or a downright enemy." He wanted rulers to choose sides so people could plan. Your version is this: be clear who gets full access, who gets limited access, and who gets no access. Do not live in the gray middle. People waste your day when you are vague. If someone is a full access person, they know they can call. If someone is a limited access person, they know to wait for your window. If someone is no access, they get a polite boundary and nothing more. You are protecting access, not just feelings. Pricing behavior is another place to show that hidden trait. Weak centers discount before anyone asks. Strong centers price, then prove. You set a number. You set what is included. You set what is not included. Extras go to a second block, later date, and higher price. When someone says, "Can we also add this piece?" you answer, "Yes, that is a separate block. Here is when we can do it." No drama. No anger. Just terms. That is Machiavellian because it protects the state, your energy, your time, your reputation, before it tries to please the crowd. Lead with outcomes, not recipes. Tell them what will be delivered, not every little step you will take. There is one more boundary move that people avoid because it feels harsh. Corrections beat apologies. When someone misses a deadline, do not send 3 sad messages about being disappointed. Send 1 correction with the next step and the new cost. This was due yesterday. I still need it. Submitting late means we push delivery to Friday. Short, factual, non-negotiable. That is a Machiavellian tone for everyday life. You do not attack the person. You tighten the frame. People learn that mistakes create distance or extra work, so they protect the agreement next time. That is how a household, a small team, or even a one-person business starts to feel solid. Leave this affirmation below. Calm voice, firm terms, results on schedule. The last move here is the clean exit. People stay stuck because they never close an interaction. They leave doors half open. They say, "Let me know," instead of, "This work is done, it lives here, you own it now." A clean exit sounds like this. We agreed on A, B, and C. I delivered A, B, and C. The files are in this folder. From now on, updates go to you. That is how you end without drama. If they come back with more that was never agreed, you point to the exit line. You are not cold. You are finished. Calm voice, hard terms, clean record. That is how you become the person no one wants to argue with because your boundaries are written down and your follow-through is boring and exact. Strength is not just setting rules. Strength is holding rules when the room gets emotional. Most people can say no when everyone is calm. Very few can say no when someone is offended, crying, acting superior, or acting confused. That is where the hidden trait shows itself. Machiavelli's real lesson was this: do not let other people's weather change your season. If your terms are right, stay with them. If your process is sound, repeat it. If your access is limited, protect it. Softness during pressure teaches people to bring pressure. Firmness during pressure teaches people to bring clarity. Machiavelli warned, "I conclude, therefore, that fortune, being changeful, men who order their actions according to the quality of the times will succeed." His point was that power belongs to the person who adapts without losing the core. Your core is your boundaries. Your adaptations are your tactics. So your reply window can shift for a high-value partner, but it shifts by your choice, not by their tantrum. Your price can have a project rate version, but it is you who names it, not them. You are not a rock, you are a gate. Gates can open and close, but only from the inside. People test you in 3 modern ways: fake urgency, fake confusion, fake friendship. Fake urgency sounds like, I need this right now. Fake confusion sounds like, I didn't know we were doing it that way. Fake friendship sounds like, do this as a favor. All 3 are access attacks. The answer to all 3 is the same. Correct. Don't apologize. I understand it feels urgent. Our response time is still 24 hours. I see there was confusion. Here's the process again. I value the relationship. This still goes in the paid block. Short, neutral, repeatable. That is how you become unfairly strong. You become hard to move, so people stop trying to move you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I don't chase approval. I set terms. Let's go deeper on pricing behavior, because this is where most slip. Weak pricing is emotional. What if they think it's too high? Strong pricing is structural. This level of access costs this much, because I have to protect the rest of the system. You are not just selling a service. You are selling a slice of your time, your attention, your calendar. That means every yes is also a no to someone else. Machiavelli would tell you to guard the state from internal decay. Your state is your calendar. If your prices are too low, you fill it with people who do not respect the work. If your scope is too loose, you drown in extras. So you do this. Core offer, clear deliverables, extras only in a second block at a later date and a higher price. No secret work, no midnight surprises. If someone wants more, they move to the next block. There is a deeper reason for this. When you give extra work for free, you teach people that your stated terms are not real. Then, even when you try to tighten up later, they will remember the soft version. It is easier to start firm and add generosity than to start generous and try to become firm. That is why we use the one-pass reset for big changes. You send one message to everyone. Here is the new rate. Here is how we schedule. Here is what is included. Here is where finished work lives. People who value you will adjust. People who only wanted endless access will fall off. That is healthy. Power comes from serving the right circle, not the widest circle. Now let's talk about reply windows again, but at a sharper level. The goal of a reply window is not just to slow down other people. The goal is to keep you in a ruling posture. When you answer instantly, you are reacting. When you answer inside your window, you are deciding. Deciding is ruling. Reacting is being ruled. A good rule is, mornings are for deep work, afternoons for responses, evenings for maintenance. If someone tries to drag you into a live back and forth at 9 in the morning when you are building, you can say, I'm in a build block. I will return to this after 2. You have now protected access to your own attention. Machiavelli said earlier that fortune favors those who act according to the times. He also warned in the same chapter that people who stay fixed while the world shifts will fail. So yes, there will be moments when you respond off-cycle. Big client, rare chance, real emergency. But let it be because the situation is strategic, not because the other person is loud. Loud is not the same as important. Many rulers in his day gave in to loud factions, and it weakened them. You do not want to build a life where whoever yells most gets most. Leave this affirmation below. My rules are clear, so my life is light. Let's add the clean exit to this frame. A clean exit is Machiavellian because it locks the result in place and keeps future blame away. After you finish work, you tell them what shipped, where it lives, and who owns next. Your deliverables are in the shared drive. The report covers April to June. From now on, updates are monthly, and you trigger them. That is a wall. If they return later with, Can you also add July and August? You do not say, "Oh, sorry." You say, "That's an extra block. Here is the rate and schedule." Corrections beat apologies. The apology keeps you small. The correction keeps the system clean. And this is key. Calm voice, hard terms. You don't need to shout to be feared in the good way. You just need to be reliable in your boundaries. People fear wasting time. People fear looking unprepared. People fear being told no twice. When they know you will cut off sloppy behavior, they show up sharper. You have seen this in real life. The boss who is not loud but is never late. The parent who says yes twice and no once and means it. The friend who will leave the restaurant if the service is bad. That steadiness is what we are building. One last angle on access. Sometimes you have to limit people you like. That is hard because it feels disloyal. But Machiavelli would tell you, loyalty without order becomes weakness. If a friend keeps asking for quick calls that are really 45-minute downloads, you can say, "I can do 15 today. If you want a full hour, let's schedule it." You did not reject them. You ranked them. You kept the friendship and kept your time. And if they push, you repeat, not explain. Explanations invite debate. Repetition closes it. That is how rulers survive. Real strength is the ability to stay precise when other people want you fuzzy. Fuzzy terms make other people comfortable and make you weak. Precision makes some people uncomfortable and makes you durable. When you move through your day with clear reply windows, firm scope, and clean exits, you aren't being cold. You're protecting the engine that creates results. That engine is your attention, your schedule, and your reputation for follow-through. The world rewards people who protect that engine and punishes those who run it open to the public. Start with access. Most drama in work and life is really access confusion. Who can reach you, how fast, and for what? Strong operators publish a simple map. Work channels during business hours. Family during those hours plus emergencies. Everything else in a 24-hour bucket. You don't repeat the map in every conversation. You behave as if it's already known. A person who DMs you at midnight gets a reply at noon. A client who calls during your build block gets a scheduled slot later. Over time, your behavior teaches the rule better than any speech. People either align or exit themselves. That's the hidden trait in action. No chase, no pleading, just consistent signal. When access gets tested, reply with corrections, not apologies. "Hey, saw your message at 1 a.m. I respond in the window after 2. That one line does more than a paragraph of feelings. Corrections beat apologies because corrections reset the structure and move on, while apologies invite negotiation you didn't ask for. This matters most when money is involved. A late payment isn't a chance to perform empathy theater. It's a moment to tighten terms. Invoice is past due. Work is paused. When payment clears, we resume. You just taught the market how to treat you." Machiavelli said, "Nevertheless, a prince ought to inspire fear in such a way that, if he does not win love, he avoids hatred." When people know you won't reward chaos, they stop bringing it to your door. Your version of fear is predictable consequences. Missed deadlines push delivery. Scope creep triggers a second block. Off-hour pings wait for the window. No yelling. No drama. Just the same response every time. The kind of steadiness that becomes your signature. The one-pass reset is your weapon when the system is out of tune. Instead of patching every small leak, you recut the pipe. Announce once. New project minimum, new reply windows, new delivery days. Then you enforce once. Any request that doesn't fit the new shape moves to the second block or leaves the pipeline. The pain is short. The order is long. This mirrors Machiavelli's advice to handle injuries all at once and benefits little by little. A single, decisive reset prevents 1,000 petty negotiations. People who value you stay. People who valued your looseness drift away. That clean separation strengthens your circle. Pricing behavior reveals the spine. Weak pricing hides behind explanations. Strong pricing names outcomes and the fence around them. You don't sell hours. You sell a result delivered by a process you control. So you lead with outcomes, not recipes. You'll get X by date Y, hosted in Z, with a 30-day polish window. The recipe is your craft and you protect it. When someone tries to move you into reciting ingredients, it's a tell. They're angling for control. Bring it back to outcomes and access. If you want to be inside the kitchen, that's a different offer with a different price. Calm voice. Hard terms. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My boundaries create the results I promise. Scope is where strength either holds or leaks. Every extra that slides through the cracks becomes your unpaid second job. The fix is simple, boring, and powerful. Extras always move to a second block with a later date and a higher price. When a stakeholder says, "Can we also add this feature?" the answer is yes. Second block, estimate follows. If they insist it's just a small thing, you still frame it. Small things stack into late projects. Your rule protects the delivery date for the agreed outcome. That isn't stubborn. That's leadership. You're saying no to chaos so you can say yes to the promise. Clean exits protect the finish line. End every engagement with a closure note that shows what shipped, where it lives, and who owns next. Delivered A, B, C. Files are in the shared folder. From this point, edits go through your team lead. If you want V2, request by Friday for a new block. That message does three things. It caps your responsibility, it assigns the baton, and it opens a clear path for future paid work. If they circle back with one more tweak, the closure note is your shield. You're not being difficult. You're honoring the exit you already wrote. Reply windows are not just time fences. They are attention multipliers. Treat the morning as sovereign territory. You build, you think, you design. The afternoon is when you open the gates and process the world. If something genuinely strategic appears, you can break your own rule. But you choose the exception. You don't let noise force it. This is how you stay adaptive without becoming reactive. The moment you answer everything in real time, you're not a ruler of your day. You're a responder in somebody else's. Speed has its place. Cadence has power. There's a social layer to all this. The people around you must learn that your calm tone is not soft permission. It's just how you deliver hard terms. You don't escalate to be taken seriously. You escalate consequences, not volume. If a teammate misses 2 handoffs, you don't write a novel about disappointment. You cut their access to critical paths until reliability returns. If a vendor repeatedly ignores specs, you stop giving them core tasks. Power in small systems works like power in states. Rewards and punishments are the language action understands. Machiavelli wrote, "Nothing makes a prince so much esteemed as great enterprises and setting a fine example." Your great enterprises are the big projects you finish on schedule without bleeding out to 100-side requests. Your example is the way you keep your word under pressure. When people see that you end clean, charge clean, and reset clean, they begin to copy you. Culture is imitation. Make yours worth imitating. Some will call you rigid. In truth, you are consistent. You still show generosity inside the frame. You can add a free polish pass or throw in a tiny delight, but only after core delivery and only once your margin is safe. That kind of generosity reads as power, not desperation, because it happens on your terms and your timing. When you reward good behavior, and withhold rewards from sloppy behavior. Standards rise quietly. The room becomes easier to manage. People stop sending you messy inputs because messy inputs never earn fast outputs. Leave this affirmation below. Calm schedule, clear scope, paid extras. When conflict pops up, shift from feelings to facts as fast as possible. Facts are dates, deliverables, folders, prices, windows. Feelings can be acknowledged in one sentence and then routed back to the map. I hear the urgency. The map is the same. Reply after 2. Delivery on Friday. Extras in the second block. If the other side keeps arguing the map, they aren't confused. They're negotiating your standards. That's your cue to end the thread or escalate to a clean exit. Sounds like the fit isn't right under these terms. Let's close where we are and hand off. Clean exits keep reputations intact because they prevent public blow-ups. The hidden trait will sometimes feel unfair even to you. You'll wonder if you're being too strict. Test yourself with one question. Does this boundary protect capacity to keep promises? If yes, hold it. If no, adjust it once and write the new version down. That test keeps you from turning boundaries into ego trophies. The point isn't to win arguments. The point is to keep your state orderly, so value can move through it at speed. When your terms are clear, your decisions get faster, your projects finish faster, your reputation compounds. People call it luck. Machiavelli would call it design. Power becomes fragile when it depends on other people remembering to respect you. Power becomes stable when you build systems that force people to interact with you on your terms. That is the direction we move now. You do not want to spend every week restating your boundaries. You want boundaries that restate themselves. You do that by tying access to behavior, money to scope, and future work to clean exits. When people know that bad behavior cuts access, they manage themselves. When they know extras always cost, they plan better. When they know you close projects with a written summary, they stop trying to reopen them in your DMs. Systems are the quiet bodyguards of a Machiavellian life. One mistake strong people make is trying to win every small clash. That is exhausting. Machiavelli would tell you to win the frame, not the skirmish. The frame is the rule everyone must follow. The skirmish is today's argument. If you win the frame, you can let small arguments pass without losing authority. Example, someone pushes back on a timeline. You can be generous about the date, but not about the rule that changes move delivery. We can shift to Monday. Shifting means the next delivery moves too. You gave ground, but inside your system. You stayed the gate. Machiavelli said, "A prince is esteemed when he is a true patron of ability and honors the proficient." This is a reminder to reward people who follow the structure. When teammates submit work on time, give them more important paths. When clients respect reply windows, give them faster upgrades. When partners stay inside scope, give them early previews. You are not just punishing the messy, you are raising the precise. That kind of fairness keeps your strength from looking personal. It looks procedural, and people trust procedures. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I reward discipline. I reduce chaos. A key modern move is the escalation ladder. You do not go from soft to nuclear in one jump. You outline levels. Level 1, reminder of terms. Level 2, reduced access. Level 3, work paused. Level 4, clean exit. Every level is sent in calm language. As a reminder, our calls stay inside the booked time. If that fails, because the last 2 calls ran over, I'm keeping the next one to 30 minutes. If that fails, work will pause until we are back on the agreed schedule. Calm voice, hard terms. This ladder makes you look measured, not moody. People know where they are with you, which is exactly what Machiavelli wanted in a prince: predictable strength. Another lever is reputation through documentation. Most people argue because nothing was written. You can make 70% of drama disappear by writing one paragraph at the end of a meeting. We agreed on A, B, C, delivery Friday. Changes go to a second block. Send it. Save it. Point to it when someone forgets. This is not bureaucracy. This is armor. It keeps you from explaining the same thing 5 times. It also makes emotional people calm down because documents do not react. When people see you always write it down, they also prepare better next time. Now let's tie this to money again, because pricing is where people secretly test your self-respect. A person who cannot say, "That's the price," cannot say, "That's the boundary." Your pricing should match your access. Fast replies, higher rate. Custom work, higher rate. Weekend access, higher rate. This is not greed. This is signaling. You are telling the world, my time is not a public utility. People who want special handling can have it, but they must also protect the thing that makes that handling possible: your capacity. When someone says, "Can you just squeeze this in?" you can answer, "Yes, rush rate applies." Short sentence, strong message. A lot of unnecessary conflict comes from mixing circles. You let a social contact into your business lane without terms. You let a client drift into your friendship lane without terms. You let a team member DM you as if they were family. Machiavelli would separate classes in a city. You should separate circles in your life. Business people get business hours and invoices. Friends get wider hours but smaller asks. Family gets care and presence, but not unlimited access to your work focus. Write the circles once. Behave in line with them. If someone tries to jump circles, guide them back. Use the project channel for this. Book time for this. This goes in the paid block. No anger, just routing. Leave this affirmation below. I separate circles so I can serve each one well. We also need to talk about silence as a tool. Strong people are not constantly explaining themselves. They set the rule, show the rule, and then go back to work. Silence after a boundary makes the boundary real. If someone keeps pushing, don't fall into a paragraph. Send the original terms again. If they still push, start the escalation ladder. This is how you stop energy leaks. Every time you re-justify, you teach people that rules are up for debate. Every time you restate without emotion, you teach people that rules are stable. Machiavelli wrote, "I hold it to be true that fortune is the arbiter of half our actions, but that she still leaves us to direct the other half." The half you control is your structure. You cannot control who tests you, who delays, who ghosts, who tries to bargain you down. You can control what happens after they do it. You can freeze work. You can reroute to a paid block. You can downgrade access. You can close the file. That is your 50%. Use it. Clean exits deserve one more look. A clean exit is not only for projects. It is also for relationships that keep ignoring your map. You can end with respect. Our ways of working are different. I'm closing out what we agreed. Future work would need to follow the structure I sent. That's it. You did not insult them. You did not explain childhood wounds. You ended. This keeps your name clean in the market, because even people who couldn't work with you will say they were clear. Clarity is a business advantage dressed as politeness. Now, apply all of this to digital spaces. DMs, voice notes, fast calls. These are all doors. If you leave them open, people will treat you like a hallway. If you label them, they become checkpoints. DMs for quick updates, email for deliverables, calendar for calls. Protect access, not just feelings. Feelings recover. Lost hours don't. When people see that you stay consistent across channels, They stop trying to sneak around the rule. You become someone who is easy to work with because the path is obvious, not because you say yes to everything. A final angle here. Reward people who take corrections well. The fastest way to build a high-respect environment is to make correction normal and safe. You correct without drama. They adjust without drama. That rhythm is royal. It turns your space, business, team, home, into a place where results are more important than egos. And that is very much in line with the Machiavellian spirit. Survival through clarity, growth through order, advantage through self-control. Everything we've built so far points to one thing. Strength is a pattern, not a mood. People think power is a single big speech, a viral clip, a heroic act. Machiavelli would have smiled at that. He knew real authority comes from daily, even boring consistency. You set terms, you enforce terms, you reward people who respect terms, and you exit people who don't. That rhythm makes you look unfairly strong, because most people can only be firm on good days. You, on the other hand, are firm on schedule. The last layer is about projection, not the fake kind, the signal you send before you talk. Strong rulers made their court know how to approach them. You can do the same today. Your calendar, your auto-reply, your onboarding note, your pricing page. These are your guards at the door. They tell people when you reply, what's included, what's extra, and where finished work lives. This is how you stop problems before they start. The person who knows you only take calls on Thursdays will not keep trying for Tuesday. The client who knows a second block costs more will not pile extras in week 1. You are not being stiff. You are being legible. Machiavelli said, "For this reason, a prince must not mind incurring the charge of cruelty for the purpose of keeping his subjects united and faithful." He wasn't celebrating cruelty. He was pointing at something grown-ups understand. If you never let anyone be uncomfortable, you will soon be unable to protect anyone. In modern life, cruelty often looks like pausing work for late payment, removing someone from the project for breaking process, refusing to reopen a closed scope, or saying no to free emotional downloads during work hours. It stings for a moment, but it protects the state, your time, your team, your delivery. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I enforce structure even when it's uncomfortable. Now return to reply windows, because they will be attacked the most. People trained by chaotic environments assume access is a right. Your job is to make access earned. You do that by answering inside your windows no matter who is watching. When someone says, "You saw the message, why didn't you reply?" You answer, "I reply inside the window." Short, not emotional. You teach them the world doesn't run on red receipts. It runs on rules. After some time, the people around you will start timing their asks to your rhythm. That's when you know you've moved from personal boundary to local culture. One pass reset stays in the toolkit for big shifts. You will have seasons where you need to raise your prices, stop weekend work, or move delivery to certain days only. Do not drip feed those changes. Drip feeding looks insecure. Announce, apply, stand. From December 1st, all strategy calls are paid. From next week, delivery will be on Wednesdays. From Q2, additional revisions will be billed as a second block. Say it once to everyone. The ones who need your work will adjust. The ones who only needed your flexibility will fade. Both outcomes help you. Order always attracts the right people, and order always exposes the wrong people. We also need to talk about power and exits. Many strong people lose leverage at the very end because they exit softly. They write, "Let me know if you need anything else." That line is nice, but it opens the door to unscoped work. A Machiavellian exit is straighter. We delivered XYZ, files are stored here. Ownership moves to you. For new work, we'll schedule and price it. That line secures the past and frames the future. It tells people you are not on call for life. It also makes clients take ownership instead of pushing things back to you every time they feel disorganized. Clean exits are mercy for your future self. And they keep your name clean because they show you finish exactly what you said you would. Machiavelli compared fortune to a violent river that floods and destroys fields when no dikes or banks have been built. His point was that wise people build channels in calm weather, so the storm has somewhere to go. You do the same by setting rules before conflict. This is how we communicate. This is how we log changes. This is how we pay. Then, when a storm comes, urgent request, messy handover, sudden delay, you pour it into the channel. You don't fight the water, you route it. People think you're lucky. You're actually prepared. Leave this affirmation below. I build channels before storms, not during them. Now let's make the modern map crystal clear. Reply windows. You answer on your time, not on their impulse. One pass reset. You change big things once and fully, not in 10-week rounds. Pricing behavior. Access and speed cost more because they drain more. Protect access. Inner circle gets more. Outsiders get slower, not equal. Clean exits. Every project ends in a written note that says what shipped, where it lives, and who owns next. If you run just these 5 moves for 90 days, people will start describing you with words like steady, reliable, strict, clear. That is Machiavellian respect in a modern tone. There will be moments when someone tries to guilt you. You've changed. You used to be more flexible. It's not that deep. That is the old order begging for the old access. You do not have to fight them. You can simply say, I run things differently now. No defense, no essay. You are telling them your identity is aligned with structure, not with being liked. This is the deepest switch of all. You start to take pride in being the person who can hold the line when everyone else folds. That self-respect is the actual hidden trait. Once you have it, you stop picking jobs, friends, and clients that need you to be sloppy to stay. Here is what this looks like in practice. A client asks for just a small change. You answer, that goes in the second block. I'll send the rate. A team member is late twice. You answer, we're shifting you off time-critical pieces until deliveries are back on track. A friend wants to turn every workday into a therapy session. You answer, I can listen later. I'm in work hours. A family member keeps calling during meetings. You answer, call after 6. I'm not available before. Same tone, different people, one center. Calm voice, hard terms. When you stack these moves, people stop treating you like an option. They treat you like an institution. Institutions don't hurry because you're late. Institutions don't cut price because you forgot the deadline. Institutions don't reopen closed files because you changed your mind. Institutions have doors. You can enter, but on schedule. That's the spirit of Machiavelli brought into group chats, workspaces, invoices, and voice notes. This is the hidden trait, the willingness to look slightly harder than the moment requires so the whole system stays workable. Most people aim for momentary comfort and create long-term disorder. You will aim for short-term clarity and create long-term stability. That's why it looks unfair. You will have time to think. You will have room to build. You will have energy for the right people. You will have a reputation that pays you back, not because you yelled or threatened, but because you taught everyone around you, this is how we deal with me.